Welcome everyone to the video. Welcome to the channel. I was hoping to get this video recorded earlier today. Today's Friday. This will come out on Saturday, but I started up my OBS, and of course that needed an update. And then started up I use NVIDIA Broadcast to handle the video and audio, and that needed an update. And of course that broke everything. So from there, I needed to upgrade my graphics driver, reinstall OBS, reinstall uh, the broadcast software, and redo all the settings. So here I am. Here we are now. Hopefully, everything sounds better. There's a new option for in video broadcast for studio sound. So let me know how it sounds, if it sounds better or worse. Let me know how the picture looks. But we're here. I'm here now. Well, for me, I'm here now. For you, this will come out on Saturday. Um, like the video by hitting the thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think of the items, the what sold items, as well as discussion topic. There's and last week we did a lot of tech stuff. Today we mostly reselling stuff and things I've seen from around the web. Well, one thing I think I've seen from around the web. Um, and then I started the video a bit different today too as well. So let me know what you think of that. Bruce Springsteen, one of my favorite artists. And I really, really don't think that he gets a lot of credit for his songwriting ability, from that, from his era, I guess, like 60s, 70s, 80s. I think kind of gets overshadowed by Bob Dylan, Billy Joel, but Bruce Springsteen, one of my favorite artists. And that song, or the quote, is from the song Lucky Town. And my favorite song is from Bruce Springsteen is For You. It's a very interesting song, but I really like it. I really do like it. So if you're interested in that, but we'll go into a little more details on things when we talk more about, into the discussion side of things. But what do we have? Like I said last week, I'm opening up the green spot. I haven't had this. It's been a while since I've had green spot, so I really don't know the different talking points, the flavors, and all that. I can tell you what it says behind, back here. Full body, a lot of full body. It's used to describe a lot of wine as well too. There's a full body wine, whatever that means. A hint of cloves, fruity sweetness, green apples, rounded off with toasted oat. Now, a lot of people describe Irish whiskeys as being kind of buttery, shortbready, probably just from the oils and all that's in it. But yeah, I'm really a huge fan of Irish whiskey. I love the lightness of it. But still, they still able to get a lot of flavor into the whiskey. They're able to get a lot of flavor into the whiskey, and yet having a very, very light, uh, taste, mouth feel. Let's get this open. Look at this. It's just it's a little tear strip that I just cannot seem to really, come on, come on. Why don't we do that tear strip? Oh, can just twist it. And let's seal. There we go. Got a little bit going on. Okay. Oop, that didn't work. Also, too, this is a very, like, the on some of these, the foil or the foil that they use to seal these off with can be kind of sharp. So you definitely want to be cautious on opening these things. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time right now. It's so big. Come on. What the heck is going on? Okay. Maybe my nails aren't even that short yet, although I am feeling like I do need to cut my nails here pretty soon. There we go. All right. Oh, we're at 8. That was harder than it should have been. So green spot, I mean, it's green spot. That's their thing. That's their motto. The cork, I think they're using, I think that's real cork. Sometimes a lot of people use simulated cork, and it doesn't really, in my opinion. If it's good whiskey, it's good whiskey. I don't really care what kind of cork they use personally. Oh yeah, bottle. Nice. Yeah, bring off the nice glass right here. A little bit of a bigger pour, just because a little bit of a longer video. think that's good enough for the time being. So I breathe a little bit. Closed up there. Very nice. And as you can see, a nice light color, as opposed to the whiskey I had last time, which was Star Wars, which is last week. And that was a 2-year-old whiskey. It was a very deep, rich mahogany looking color because I definitely believe, the 2 years isn't really that much. I mean, I've had some 2-year whiskey, in aged normally in charred oak barrels, and it does not come anywhere close to that dark. Definitely has to be the way, they were using red wine barrels, they were steam barrels. So definitely probably why they have just a rich color. I wonder how many years, if it says here. It is still pretty light. So I'm thinking, I mean, that's not really like 2 years. I would, if I had to guess, just based on my experience of whiskey drinking, I would say at least 4 years. It doesn't say here on the bottle. Matured in American bourbon sherry cask and sherry cask. It didn't say. Okay, there's no year on here, so I'm just going to assume. I mean, I could probably look it up online, but based on the color, I'm going to have to guess maybe somewhere around 4-ish years or so, 3 to 4 years. But let's give it a taste and let it breathe for a tad. Mm. Oh, you get that apple right off the bat. You get apple. Wow, that's really good. That is so good. Oh yeah, that apple is really, really forward there. Just a nice, exactly like it says on the bottom. Did it say green apple? Because that's what I'm getting. Green apples, yeah, green apples. Just a nice green apple cider. This is really good. You did get it on the nose. You get it as you take it in. Oh, that's really good. A little bit of heat, a little bit of heat, not too much heat. Typical, of Irish whiskey. So very, very nice. So that is a really good one. So okay. And it's Friday too. So TGIF. Let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. We're gonna break down. So like I said before, in this new format, we're going to do a breakdown of the cost, not the cost, a breakdown of the fees, what eBay takes, how much the shipping is and all that. I'm going to pick an item. We'll look at it if there's any promotion associated with it and all that. Let's jump right into it. And stay tuned for the discussion. We'll discuss I guess I should just give you a little preview. I'm going to talk a little bit about. I'm going to show you a couple of 100 ones, 100 ones, a little over 100 dollar items, which I typically don't do, and I'll discuss that a little bit more in the discussion phase of the video. And I just thought they were kind of cool, unique, and some points I wanted to bring up about those. And about 10 times in your money. I hear a lot of people talk about 10 times in your money, and we'll discuss that and my thoughts on it. And then a little bit about the quote, just kind of explaining, why I chose that quote. We'll look into that a little bit as well too. And have a couple of customer things going on as well. A couple of customer things. One of them I'll bring up when I discuss one of the what's in. One of the reasons why in here. But let's go. Let's go. Oh, perfect. All right, cool. So this is the item of which we'll break down right here, as far as what the fees are and everything. But just a really cool watch. One of my top performing categories is watches. I don't really deal in the super high end watches. Very rarely do I ever have a watch that goes up over $100. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do have watches, but generally, for the most part, the watches that I do pick up and I do resell are going to fall somewhere in the $20 to $30 range. Sometimes they'll fall a little bit more. Yeah, sometimes a little bit less, just depending on the types of watches they are. One of the things with watches is you really, really want to be sure that they're working. That's going to get them sold quick. You want to put tested in the title if you can, or work, something to that effect. And there are kits. I've discussed this before in previous videos. There are watch kits you can buy that'll help you open watches, help you work on them. I don't really do too much work on them. I just make sure when I'm buying now, I make sure the arms work, and then I take it home. Usually, just a battery replacement, and that is it. With all devices that are mechanical, require a battery, electric, whatever, you always run the risk of it not working. You take it home, you get it ran. It's a gamble. It's a gamble. So, be prepared to accept that fact that bringing home something that requires a battery, such as a watch, might not work when you get it home. So be prepared to take a loss or take an L for that item. So make sure you pay accordingly. Don't pay too much for anything that's electronic or anything like that. I was watching a video today. A guy I like to watch, his channel is Tech Yes City. Primarily a computer builder, reviewer of computer stuff, but he also is a reseller of computer parts. And if you're interested in computer parts, reselling computer parts, I know I don't do it that much. I pick them up from time to time. I used to do it more pre-pandemic, but he does it. He still does it. He's over in Australia, but still relevant to here as well too. But he goes, finds deals online. Usually, most of them are meetups, and does a really good job. He does a really good job. Builds out computers, primarily gaming style computers and all that. But he had mentioned, or in his latest video, he bought a computer, and the person said it wasn't working. It was a very high end computer. It wanted $3,000, which would have been perfect if the computer was working. It would have been a good price, not too high, but not too low either. It was right in the middle. But they said it wasn't working, and if it really wasn't working, it's based. I mean, it still has some value, but nowhere near $3,000. So he made them, the best possible value based on the graphics card, which is the most expensive part of the computer, and ended up $1,800 what they agreed upon. Great. Got it home and was able to determine that it was simply just a memory module that wasn't fully inserted into the thing. So then he brought up the fact that, people will be in the comments section talking about how, oh, you should give that person more money since it was such an easy fix. And, but then he brought up a very good point of what if the reverse occurred? What if they said everything's working, then you get it home and it doesn't work? Will the person you bought it from, will they give you money back on that? Will the reverse happen? Will the reverse occur? And most likely not. They're not going to get money back. And I've had this problem, uh, occur, many years ago dealing with computer components, where I get a computer component and you gotta get a little lazy. You're like, yeah, I'll go buy it. The person was, responding pretty well. I'll take their word for it. You get it home, it doesn't work. And I've messaged the buyer back and, nothing, nowhere. That isn't like Craigslist stuff as well, too. We're back in Craigslist, so you have to exchange emails or phone numbers. And then everything just goes dark. So um, that happens to you once, and then you learn your lesson. But it's kind of tough when it comes to computer components because, if you're buying uh, graphics cards, stuff like that, yeah, it's hard to be able to test these things out and about. A little easier nowadays, but still a little difficult. Yet, kind of like taking someone's word for it. You kind of have to have that handshake deal. But there's always going to be people that take advantage of other people, and this guy, and, he made a good point in saying, when people come out and say, well, it works, you tested it, you should give that person back more money because you have like a $3,000 or probably a little bit more. It's probably more than a $3,500 computer now, fully tested and working, perfectly fine. Go give that person more money back. But then, if the reverse had occurred with that person, would the person he bought it from end up giving him money back? No, is the answer. So, um, all that to say, be very cautious when you're buying items. Our batteries, any type of electronics. It's gonna, buy as low as possible. Either way, let's get to this. I went off on a tangent. I'll tell you that right now. Such a good whiskey. Such a good whiskey. All right. But really cool. Just a really cool watch. I mean, there was the only data that I saw on this watch as far as sales history goes was 3 years ago, one sold for $16. You're going to see right now what it sold for. But just such a cool watch, just unique, retro looking, fully tested and working. And when I saw it, I was like, well, that's such a cool watch. But yeah, there was no data. There was no recent sales history at all. There was nothing really for me to go on. Like I said, except a 3-year-old sale, this watch, and a lot can happen in 3 years. So I thought it was really cool. I thought I can get it sold. Again, I'm relying a lot on my 20 years, 20 years of experience, reselling on online, eBay, selling all kinds of stuff. But let's go ahead and do the breakdown. We have listed for $45. That's what it sold for. The shipping that they paid, $6.84. You see the sales tax there for a grand total of $54.44 is what the total that the buyer paid. We have now we got to subtract everything to see what we actually get, what actually gets deposited. As you can see, I'm not going to every video. I'm not going to just I'll walk through all these different points, but you can see there what the transaction fees, how much the actual label costs. The actual label cost is down there, which is $451. That's what I actually paid. And the ad fee. So this was on ads. This was on an 8% ad fee. So you see the $4.52 is what I paid in ads for a total of 36. So what actually gets deposited? $36.06. Let's look at the fees. Now, one thing okay, eBay is raising fees. When was it? It's on the 13th or the 14th. I forgot when there was a seller update that came out here in January. They're going to raise it in most categories, not every category, most categories by 0.35% is what they said. And then I went ahead and looked at everything. So the highest right now is going to be like the books magazine category. It's going to be the highest now is going to be 15.3% is going to be the highest that could potentially cause. Now, the fees, and one thing I realized is that, and I've had a store subscription for so long, and that's what I'm going here because I never mentioned it. I do have a store subscription. I pay for the one that's in the middle. I don't remember the name exactly, but it's right in the middle. And that does give me lower fees. So you see my fees, you're trying to compare me yours, and you're like, wow, how's he paying less? Well, I have a store subscription. So everything kind of balances itself out. I pay monthly. So I pay monthly, but you select the yearly plan. So if you do want the store subscription or you have one, you think, oh man, I'm going to pay this big upfront fee for the whole year. They still charge you per month. So select the yearly plan. You get charged a little bit less, so you save a little bit more money there. The only thing is that if you cancel it before year ends, then there's a cancellation fee. So, but if you plan to have eBay for the long term, just pay the fee, or select the yearly plan and pay the monthly fee. So my fees are lower because of that. And then I get an additional 10% for being top rated plus. And I don't think I've also mentioned this either. Well, I do mention the top rated plus. You have to have at least 30 days free returns. And you have to be able to ship with at least one business day turnaround. And I don't think I mentioned this, and you should also be, or you need to be, should also, you have to be already a top rated seller. So you have to be a top rated seller. And, everybody can get into top rated seller, as far as the tiers go, there's below standard, that's standard, above standard. Is that standard or is it above standard? I don't know. I haven't seen it. Knock on wood. I haven't seen any of the low categories. So knock on wood. Yeah. But everybody can achieve top rated seller status. But to get that plus, you need those, like I said, 30-day free returns and turnaround time at least one business day. If you can afford to do that, some people just can't, they just can't do it. But if you can, and I can, I have really no reason not to, you get that extra 10% discount on your final value fees. As you can see, it's not like an incredible amount. It's 71 cents on this one I get back, but that kind of cancels out the 40 cents which is the final value fee that a lot of people do forget about. There for $10.01, it's 40 cents. Below that is 35 cents. 35. Pretty sure it's 35 cents. I'll double check. It might be 30 cents. I'll double check that. But for no, ultimately $6.75 is what the total fees are there. So go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay. All right. No, we're not going back. We're going forward. Okay. We're going to go forward now. Okay. Trying to see where I'm at right now. I'm going off on too many tangents here. Right off the bat. Right off the beginning. It's not good. Okay. Another watch that I sold. Don't mind the little weird funkiness, right? It's, I have just a ruler thing taped down to my desk where I take pictures at, so I can easily get measurements of things. And as you can see, it gets dirty over time, tearing, ripping. So I got to replace all that. I got to replace it's just like a sewing tape, like it's the flexible measuring tape, basically what it is. I have tape down there, but I got to replace all that and clean it up a bit. But what I wanted to point out here is the Lexus watch. You definitely want to look out for these watches. They do have them in different premium car brands, not your Jeep. I mean, unless you get it like dirt. I mean, they still sell. Like the Jeep ones still sell. I've seen those. I've seen a Toyota one, which Toyota Lexus are pretty much the same thing. And they still sell if you get them for a low enough price. These ones here, like the Lexus, I've sold Mercedes ones before. These ones demand more of a premium, especially if the watch is more premium watch. And this was definitely more a premium watch. But we have the Lexus watch. It's a women's size, gold plated. You have the iridescent face there as well too. Just a really cool two-tone. It has the silver tone, the gold tone watch. And what did it sell for? $85 is what it sold for. $6.84 is what they paid in shipping. So definitely keep your eye out for these watches. Again, make sure you get yourself a watch kit. If you do want to get into watches and you want to sell them quicker, make sure you're able to test them. You're able to get a battery in them. You're going to need a watch kit. Go on Amazon, look for them. They really do help you out when it comes to selling watches, is being able to replace batteries. And a lot of these use the Sing batteries, so you can look them up and get them on Amazon. You can usually get them very, very cheap on Amazon. There's a big pack of batteries, and they generally will last you a while. I will put any battery in there. I'll leave it in. I won't take the battery out. I'll leave the battery in there, close it up. It gets the item sold just so much quicker when it comes to watches, that is, if they can be fully tested. Just really cool watch. Plus, then it works. So they're not going to send it off to somebody. They're going to, and then they're going to be, I got a new battery in it. It doesn't work. So then you get a return, and nobody wants that. So really cool. Look out for these premium car brands and their associated watches. Noah's Ark. You may have seen this in a video. If you watched any of the regular videos where I go into Goodwill, I picked this up a while ago. Now, let me tell you, this is sat for a while, unlisted, on my shelf. It's my own fault. I'm a slacker. I was kind of slacking. It's fairly big. And I just did not picture it. I had it sitting on my shelf for a while, and I kind of forgot about it. Well, when I was sick and everything, I was going through my death pile, and I pulled this out, got it pictured, and it's sold. Really cool. It is a large item. Oh, the watch went in, I put it in a larger poly bag because it went close to $100. So I put it in one of my larger poly bags, and padded poly bag. I didn't wrap it because the more premium item, I wrapped it 4 times in bubble wrap before I put it in the padded poly bag. This one here went in a 2012 6 box of 20 inches, 12 inches, 6-inch box. One I always keep in stock because it comes in handy. Do I use it all the time? No, I don't use it all the time, but it comes in handy to have it here. And I don't want to have to go searching for a box somewhere, or going to go buy an expensive box. I'd rather just order it with one of my regular orders. Like if I see my unusual boxes going down, and I'm making a regular order as far as poly bags or the smaller boxes, I'll throw those larger boxes into the same order, kind of helps save with the shipping cost. Um, but this one here, I mean, Minicraft model kit, really cool. Noah's Ark. I always throw anything with to have to do with the Bible stories. I'll throw biblical. I might throw Bible in there, and I always throw Christian or Christianity in there. Just a really cool. It was an open box. And it wasn't built or anything like that. Really great item. What did it sell for? $69. The shipping cost was higher because it's a big item, big. $15.02 is what they paid in shipping. Now remember, we always do make a little bit on shipping. I overestimate the weight a little bit to account for the cost of shipping, as far as how much the boxes cost, packaging material cost, all that. So, really cool. Cool piece. Noah's Ark. There it is, finally sold. And it's fairly quickly, within about a couple of weeks, after I cut around the listing it. Okay. Now, this is something that is super, super specific. And it's going to require the right buyer. I wouldn't recommend everyone picking this up unless you can get it dirt cheap. It might sit for a while. This would set for a little while. I sold off a bunch of them. I think I only have one more left of this. I got a bunch of these ones, which are Valley Fair. It's a local mall to San Jose. As you can see, San Jose, Silicon Valley. It's a travel mug. It's a Worley brand. It's really cool retro coffee cup. Unless you get it dirt cheap and you don't mind sitting on it for a while, it's just really cool. I used to go here when I was a kid. I used to go to all the malls here when I was a kid. Valley Fair has always remained one of the more popular malls in our area. It's huge now. Now they've remodeled it. It's huge, always jam packed. I mean, if you know anything about San Jose, if you go to Valley Fair area, the parking is just horrendous. It always is horrendous. They'll never ever be able to get a handle on the parking situation. They could build a parking garage, 10 stories high, and they'll be jam packed. It's always jam packed there. It's a mall. They have everything there. But it's a cool place. They even have a Lego store there. So one of the reasons why I go there. But just a jam packed mall. Always been a popular mall. Even when I was going back in the 80s, and when I saw these, I couldn't turn these down. But again, a super specific item, going to require a super specific buyer. If you don't mind holding on to it, if you can get it dirt cheap, one itself for $18.14 is what it ultimately sold for. $5.94 is what the shipping was. This one in one of my hat boxes, $975. Really cool piece. The other ones I sold were Emporium, surprisingly. So that was kind of cool. Here we go. This is pretty cool. I mean, Disney, right up our alley. Disney parks, Salt and Pepper Shaker, Mickey, Minnie, Christmas, selling still right now. What do they sell for? Still brand new on the package, mind you. Really cool. This is one where if you looked at the comps, you might have undersold it a little bit. It didn't sell for that much over what the comps are going for, but $26.01 is what they said. Yeah, there's one. It's $26.01 is what they paid. $6.84 is what the shipping was on this. So just item, and it sold well, and probably thanks to hopefully title structure, I believe. Really cool item, And there'll be another item in here too, which if you look at the comps, you might undersell it a little bit, but it sold, and it didn't take very long, and it sold after Christmas. Disney parks, Minnie and Mickey Mouse. This went in a poly bag, one of my larger poly bags. This is ceramic porcelain, and it was wrapped 4 times in bubble wrap before I put it in one of my larger bubble mailers to mail this thing out. I do a lot of stuff in bubble mailers. Knock on wood. It does work. Bubble mailers do work, and I learned this many, many years ago when I was ordering a lot of like Star Wars action figures, brand new in the package. And I was also selling them too, buying and selling them, buying them from my own collection as well too. Someone I was buying from regularly was sending to me in poly bags, in padded poly bag, wrapped up in padded poly bags, and they were making it perfectly fine, safely to my house. And I was like, I can do the same thing. Why not? Why am I wasting time with boxes? And I've had boxes completely crushed with, there was one, Darth Malleus action figure from the Old Republic. It was one of the, vintage collection ones, and the box was just completely smashed and the action figure was fine, but, when you're dealing in higher end collectibles, the bubble to be perfect. You want the cardboard to be perfect. And it was not. I don't know what in the world happened to this thing, but it was completely smashed. And then it was in the box with some packaging material, but that did not save it at all. And so one of the reasons why I do and have been using a lot of padded poly bags, um, in my shipping because they work. If you create a nice pillow, now one of the things you can be thinking of is like, man, the packaging material is going to start adding up. It's going to cost a lot. But if you're buying it locally, and I know I see a lot of people or hear a lot of people that go over to Walmart a lot, or they go to Uline and they buy their stuff there. That's expensive, and it's not the best quality at all. No, I've used that stuff before, and, it does work getting your items, shipped around. If you package them properly, they'll still be perfectly safe. But there are better options, and there are cheaper options too if you look online. I order my stuff from Uline, and, if you buy enough, you can you can drive the price down. I also do look on, Amazon as well too, just to price match and see, what's the better deal. So I'm constantly looking out for good deals on packaging material. I'm also looking locally as well too. Sometimes you can find some deals through Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist too as well. It's still viable. OfferUp, not really too viable anymore. But I have found cheap shipping supplies that way as well too. So definitely, try to get your shipping supplies as low as possible, and it won't. If you're buying them, you're going over to, I use I go over to what is it, Postal Annex a lot, and the prices are fairly high for poly bags or boxes and all that. Uline is okay. It's not the best, but not as far as price goes. They have good quality stuff. Don't get me wrong. Good quality boxes, good quality packaging material, but price wise, it's okay. It's decent. And at Walmart, they just, in my opinion, the quality of the bubble wrap, the quality. And I tested out. I think I showed a box. I went over there to go, to see what the quality was of their 6x6x6x6 boxes, and the quality isn't really there, but it still works. It still works perfectly fine. So, in the beginning, if you're just starting out, I definitely recommend checking locally, see what the price is. Walmart's probably the best as far as price goes. Check Amazon, and then once you start to ship out a lot more stuff, look to other options. There are definitely cheaper options out there. Yeah, I'm talking a lot. Okay, this is really cool. I pick these up every time I find these. You can get them really cheap usually, but this is a Buxton. There are other brands as well too, but just a little key. It just holds your keys in it. It's a hard case. It came with this with the other little material there as well too. I think it was just like the tag, like the branding tags, but it opens up and it has somewhere to put your keys in. It's a really cool little device, from yesteryear, and it had really cool little flowers on it. The Buxton keytainer, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Keytainer is, like a container. Key case, vintage, organizer. And really cool. Just a really cool little piece of history here. I like to sell these things. And these are the things I like to find. These are items that people still purchase, believe it or not. And you can't necessarily go down to Target and buy this. You can't, they might be on Amazon. They probably more than likely are not. Trying to find those unique, cool items that someone is going to have to go somewhere like eBay to find. But they do sell $17 what it sold for. $5.80 was what they paid in shipping. And this went in one of my smaller padded poly bags. Of course, I wrap everything in bubble mailer. The more fragile, the more bubble I use. Five, five would be the top. When it comes to wrapping in bubble wrap, 5 layers would be the maximum I do. I don't do any more than 5. This year we'll just get like one wrap, and then it goes in a padded poly bag and send it on its way. Really cool piece here. Hats. You don't see me talk about too many hats because hats aren't really. When it comes to hats, generally for the most part, you got to get them as cheap as possible because they're not going to sell for that much. $8 to $10 or maybe on average. Maybe the average is a little bit lower. I don't really know. I don't really deal too many of hats. You'll see me in my regular videos when I go to Goodwill, when I go to Savers. I do check out the hats, and really, really, I'm looking for hats that are more of a premium. Hats that will go for up to $20-ish. Hopefully, is what I'm looking at. Because if you see my Goodwill videos, you will see that the hats at Goodwill and or at Savers that I go to, they're going to be around $5. Yeah, for something is what they're going to cost usually. The flea market, you generally get a good price on hats. Generally, you can get hats for $1 or $2. And that's really where I would prefer to get hats to resell if it was one of my bigger categories. If it was a category that I really wanted to focus in on. But at the flea market, they're going to be dirty and you're going to have to wash them, clean them, figure out how to clean most of the time. Most of the time, they're going to be fairly dirty and they're going to need some sort of care. But this hat here. So the reason why I put this hat in here, because this is the hat that goes, in my opinion, for more of a premium. And when it comes to premium hats, we're talking up over $20 and more. But the $25, this hat sold for $25. So definitely keep your eye out for it. California redwood, it's trained conductor style or trained engineer style. Really, really cool. And $25, $6.07 is what this sold for. And that went inside a hat box, which is $975. So really cool. Definitely keep your eye out for this type of hat. When it comes to hats, like I said, look for hats that, if you're getting them for, you probably want to, when it comes to hats, you want to stick to probably sports teams, railroad hats. So those are the ones that are going to move. Other hats like this hat right here. This is like a Google hat. I mean, I just use it because it's good for the camera. It doesn't get like, it doesn't blend in the background that's behind me. That's the reason why I wear this hat. But this is the Google hat. This is, I don't know, maybe a $2 hat or a $3 hat. It's not really worth it. So just be cautious. Just be aware that hats, they do sell. Sports teams do well, but on average, like I said, $8 to $10 is what a hats are going to sell for. So just be mindful of your buy cost and, and if you want a higher, profit on hats, it's going to take a little bit more work to find those hats that do sell for a higher amount. And hopefully me showing you this will help you try to, if you find this hat or similar hats, to know that these hats, there are some hats that do go for up over $20. But that wasn't next on my list. That really threw me off. That was not that's on my list, but we'll roll with it. Motherboard. This is a old school, and this is technically ancient history when it comes to computers. Even though this was probably early 2000s. A WinFast. I don't even know if this company's still around, but this is an old AMD motherboard. I think the socket is 754. I think. Or it might be a 939. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really remember. But this was actually an NVIDIA chipset motherboard. You heard me talk about NVIDIA earlier. So it was, they new chipsets, and the chipset basically chips that are on. So, But you still required a AMD CPU. This was an AMD motherboard. But really cool. This was brand new, brand new. And I included, because when I bought the motherboard, I was also able to get some memory thrown in because, like, who's going to have this old DVR memory? So I was able to get at least 1 gigabyte of memory thrown in with this deal, and it sold. And it sold. People still buy this stuff. Some old games, you know, don't play nice with the new modern multi-core processors, with this, latest and greatest in graphics cards. They just don't play well with the latest tech. And a lot of people, there's a huge retro, yeah, I mean, you heard about old NES games, people playing old GameCube games. Well, there's also vintage computer players as well too, and retro gaming computers that people build out as well. And so it's really cool. I mean, I built out computers with this not necessarily this specific motherboard, but similar motherboards of this era. But just really cool. What it's up for, it's totally thrown off my list here. $37.25. What are they paying shipping? $23.85. Is what they paid in shipping. And what that shipping is higher. It was higher because I made a mistake. I made a mistake when putting in the dimensions, but they still paid it. But they still paid for it. And this one, padded poly bag, my larger padded poly bag, wrapped in bubble wrap. It's still got all the original packaging inside. So the motherboard is completely safe inside the box. But of course, I did wrap it in bubble wrap before I put it inside my larger padded poly bag. But really, really cool piece. It's something from my era, I was building out computers in the early 2000s as well too. Using a lot of this old tech, and so just, something I like, and I like to buy and resell, and they still sell. You still see me picking them up. In a video I posted, or it'll probably be coming out in about a week or two. But I found an old 9500 GT NVIDIA graphics card. Back when if you know anything about internal computer components and connectors, but PCI Express was first coming out. It's really, really cool. So it's something that I love, and I remember, and I know they still sell. Now, this was a cool piece. Okay, now we're getting into the big, one of the bigger items here. This is a barometer, thermometer, hydrometer. There's a little bit of everything. This was a cool piece. Now, what was very interesting about this piece is, first and foremost, I saw an Instagram post, Rally Roots. If you're familiar with them on here on YouTube, they actually posted this on on Instagram story, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's a really cool item. And then I went over to Savers, and I found this will come out in a video. And I found it. They were like, holy cow, that is so cool. And I already know, barometers, this is Excel. I sold a barometer, I think in my last video, I posted put a barometer in there. And there was a video before that. There was a barometer I sold, barometer, thermometer. There's another one. Really cool. Huger Sputnik design. So Sputnik is kind of, from that, the Sputnik, the satellite that the Russians sent into space. And so things that kind of look like it from that era, you could throw Sputnik in there as the as a descriptor or as a keyword. So really cool. It's got a globe shape to it. MCM, German. What does it do? It's for the weather. So really cool piece of decor. And what was interesting about this piece, there's no shipping on it. $121.38 is what they paid. No shipping because this was a local sale. I was able to sell it locally. I shouldn't say I wasn't able to, because I do not really like local sales. And the main reason why I stopped doing them is because I was having people meeting up with people, and they were trying to change the terms of the deal when I meet them up. Just like Facebook deals, just like Craigslist deals, you meet people, you always meet them up. They're like, oh, how about I offer you, when you sell for 15, I'm going to give you $10. I'm like, you're kind of like stuck in the moment. And like, or I've had people, but oh, this is all I brought. That's all I have right there. I've had somebody like go through their car, like looking for change sometimes, because they're trying to, I would stick to my guns. I'm like, no, this is what I sold it for. This is what I want. And I've had people go through their cars and digging through change. I'm like, and then miraculously they pull out the exact amount. I'm like, so that's one of the main reasons why I no longer do local sales here on eBay. It can be done. If you want to do it, you can, but I stopped doing it for that reason. And not only that, um, you cannot go outside of eBay with these transactions here. The money has to exchange via eBay. And what people wanted me to do was cancel their eBay order, and then they pay me in cash. And you just can't do that. You can't do that. eBay will catch on if you do that too much. And so they're asking, just cancel the order, you'll save money, and I'll just give you the. I'm like, no, no, no. So it's becoming too much of a headache. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing that. 2 or 3 years ago. And then not only that too, but people were buying items, not local, seeing, and then like, oh, I didn't know, I thought it was free shipping. And then you run into too many cancellations that way as well too. But this person was insisting. They were insisting, and I was like, so I went through the whole messaging system, messaging back and forth, and they were serious. They were serious about purchasing this item. It was something that they had, something from their past, something from I think their mother or their grandmother had it, and they really, really wanted it. They didn't want it sent via, there are some delicate, it is a delicate thing. It came with all the original packaging. I sent so many delicate items out. I tried to assure them that it'd be perfectly fine. They were local. They were close, not that close, but close. But they were willing to make the drive. I said, okay. After we went back and forth for a little bit, I said, okay, this is what we have to do. You have to cancel the order. You have to set it up as a local. You have to repurchase it. You'll need the QR code, 6-digit code, just in case the QR doesn't work. And so I gave them all the information. They agreed to it all. Met in person. Very nice, very nice customer. Very nice person, overall. And we talked for a little bit. And that was it. Completed the sale. Cool item. Really cool. I mean, it's really, really cool. One of those things where it's like, do I keep it? Do I not keep it? Do I keep it? Do I not keep it? What am I going to do with it? It's going to sit here. Oh, and this person really, really, I was going to enjoy this piece and really liked it. It was part of their past. And I collect stuff from my past as well, too. So I was glad to see, glad to see it go to a good, even though I had it for not very long. Okay. That's the story with that one. So no packaging material, no nothing. Homeless Jesus. This sculpture here, you probably saw this in the video. I thought I can get up over $100 for this item because there were none other listed. Now, this is one of the smaller variants. There is a larger variant that does go for over $100. This smaller one does go for less. I thought, like I said, I thought I could probably get a little bit more because there are none like this out there. Currently, well, I don't know about right now, but when I listed it, there were none other listed at that time. So I thought I can get a little bit more. I was wrong. We still made money on it though. I got $60, which is about what this size goes for. So $60 is what it sold for. $10 what they paid for shipping. This one in the hat box, 975 size box. Really cool. Keep your eye out for it. Timothy P. Schmaltz. It's a box that the box looks like just something you order from Amazon. Like just a random like Amazon thing coming in a random overseas Amazon box, packaging. But it's worth it. It's worth it. If you can find it, it's worth it. Oops, what am I doing here? Now this is really good. This is if you know your Wizard of Oz, really cool sign. Cousin Farm. Surprisingly, this Cousin Farm does fairly well here on eBay. I really like this. Nobody gets to see the wizards. I'm a huge fan of wizards and stuff like that. Wizard fantasy, Lord of the Rings. But a really cool piece. It's just a wood plaque that you can hang on your wall. There's something that I would think would be sold at like a Michael's or Hobby Lobby type of thing. It's kind of listed. I don't think I found an exact comp. I could find the Cousin Farm wood, but I couldn't find an exact. No one gets in to see the wizard type of sign. So listed it. It's sold $25. easy shipper. When is that a poly bag? You know, it is just a solid piece of wood. Of course, I wrapped it in some bubble wrap first, 2 things of bubble wrap before I put it inside a bubble mailer. $7.67 is what they paid in shipping. Now, this should be the last side. This one. I thought this would come up sooner, but I hope it's here. Oh, perfect. Okay, this purse. I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that name, but it sold for over $100. Italian purse, women's handbag, leather, tan brown, Italy, Southwestern. It's a Southwestern style bag because if you look at the leather, it kind of just, I thought of Southwestern or Western style. Went for $100. If you look up this brand, oh, the shipping was $13.28. Went in one of my 1410 6 size boxes. But if you look up this name, you might undersell this purse. You might sell it for around 40 to 50 bucks. So that's generally what they go for. But this was more of a premium purse. And this style goes for around $100 if you do find this style exactly. You got to take great pictures though. You got to make sure you take great pictures to get it sold. You really got to. I think you definitely have to use that Southwestern style. If you see this type of design with the leather, a really cool piece. It goes for $100 in this style. Other styles will definitely go for less. And if you were looking at the comps, you probably would sell this for less. But just knowing what I know, again, not to toot my own horn, the top 2% category of purse sellers on eBay last year. So I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. Always learning though. Always learning. This purse sold for $100. So really cool item. And that's it. That's the last of what's sold. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna take a break and just let me talking a lot. And we'll come back. I'll come back into the discussion.
Hey, you've made it to the end. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video by hitting the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel by hitting my little round icon down below. It really does help us out here. Also, you'll find a couple of selections. You'll see a playlist of videos to watch and my most recent video that I did upload.